Thanks everybody for listening to my spiel here. I'm here to talk about community engagement and really my software company and the way that we engage community through leveraging the platform. It's called Meeting Machine. Let me share my screen. All right. Sorry, I'm also at home and I have full disclosure here, 2 sick kids, and my wife has a play school that brings about 4 to 6 kids into the house every day. So if you hear some background noise, my apologies. So here we are, Meeting Machine. We introduce communities to each other one-to-one weekly, virtually. We are a virtual assistant, basically, that coordinates the one-to-one meetings for communities. All the logistics are handled. We make the matches. The bot finds mutually agreeable time on both people's calendars that we make the introduction to, and we connect them with a one-touch call-in. So no contact information needs to be exchanged. We leave that up to the users. It works through links, basically. We create custom links, or the user creates a custom link within the portal and shares that link through whatever method they wish in order to associate people with their group. So when someone clicks the link, they are taken to the website, onboard, a 30-second onboarding process. I guess I'm getting into specifics here, which is, I don't know, I feel like I need to because it's a new kind of tool. And this is really the onboarding process here, which is just inputting job title, company, location, and industry, and then connecting your calendar in order for the software to work. And with that, that's it. And you're on board, and every Monday, you receive a calendar invite to connect with another person from that community which you joined through clicking the link. This is a community I run or manage. It's called Luke's Group, or Friends of Luke, which Michael is a part of, and possibly some other folks in here might be a part of as well. But this is the interface that shows you your members, email addresses, when they joined, how many intros they've had, things of that nature. And it's as easy to create a group as clicking the new group button. You name it, group description, you can make it private or public, and then you create the group, and then you're able to share out your group link, which is this. So that is basically how it works. We do have a subscription, $15 doubles the amount of intros per week. And I'll show you real quick what an intro email looks like. This is what happens when we're unable to book a match, but we do include the LinkedIn profile link in order for people to try and connect through other means. Here is what it looks like to, please turn that off. Mommy said I could watch TV. So here's what it looks like when we are able to book the intro. Hold on just one second. I have to mute and turn off my camera briefly.
So you all know that we have our own TRN Meeting Machine group, which I don't know. I have mixed luck because it only allows you to connect with people on Monday and 24 hours. So if both of you don't connect by then, it sends you that unable to connect email. I've mentioned to Kevin I would love it to be either provide a little more time or something, but I don't know if he's got the bandwidth right now to make those adjustments, or if he even wants to.
I'm back. Sorry, and I missed it, Michael. What was the question?
I was just talking about the fact that we have our own TRN group, which if you're not a member of that group, you can go to any of my emails, recent emails anyway, my weekly emails, and there's a section of it that talks about Meeting Machine and signing up. And the other thing was that I've had sort of mixed luck with it because I think it's because that 24-hour window, people often don't get to their emails within 24 hours, and then if you don't accept, if both parties don't accept within those 24 hours, it cancels the meeting and does not set up another.
Right. And the only way that we've found around that so far is in including the LinkedIn information for people to try to connect outside of the platform. So, this is, I guess, our MVP. We're continuing to make adjustments to it and add features and reconfigure things as we can. But there are some big problems to try and solve that are a little more complicated. And that is one of them in terms of booking the time. What's the window like? How much time is left in the week? Kind of thing.
I wonder, would it be possible, I wonder, to make the booking on, or try to make the setup on Friday and give people over the weekend to accept, so that you'd have the whole following week?
Sure.
Potentially.
That's interesting. Thanks for the question. I'll certainly bring it up with my partner, the product guy.
I've had more people cancel on me than I've had meetings on the Meeting Machine.
Yeah.
Well, that's just who you are.
Well, maybe, I don't know. I mean, I don't take it personally though.
Yeah. Don't, a lot of times one of the other problems that's tough to solve is people's calendars. I don't know how many email addresses you have, but I probably 8 email addresses, something like that, functioning email addresses. And we link one calendar. There's not the opportunity to link all 8 of my calendars. So, sometimes there's something on a calendar that isn't on, my personal calendar where I have it connected. So that's another tough one to crack too. But again, it's an opportunity to engage a network around your brand weekly, whether or not they are in the end introduced for that 15-minute phone call, whether they actually have that phone call or not. Your brand is in front of them. The TRN network messaging is there when they get these emails every week, so, and the opportunity to make those connections to those people through LinkedIn and other avenues is there as well. So, it's a freemium product. That's the model. And, to be able to engage your community for free like that, I believe is of value. We believe in that value proposition for sure.
Absolutely. And my understanding is that I think you showed it briefly. Right now it connects to either your Google Calendar or your Microsoft Calendar. Those are the two. Of course, those are probably the most widely used calendars.
That's right.
At least in the United States.
Office 365 or Google Calendar. Yep.
We're down to the 5-minute mark.
Great.
You
I'm
can,
up for questions for sure. That's kind of my spiel here. You know, really, I see the opportunity for so many different types of communities to leverage this platform. You know, from influencers to in-person events, ways to engage the community throughout the year, rather than just at one in-person event. You know, put the link into a QR code and get your attendees to sign up for Meeting Machine in order to engage them around, you know, whatever the
Kevin?
event is. Yes.
Yeah, so I have a quick question. I don't know whether this is a technical question or what, but like, so let's say, you know, all of us have our own communities and stuff. So like, how does the system know, like, you know, how does it know the depth and breadth of the space to connect people within? So how does that part work?
Sure. So it's a weighted algorithm, and it it looks at these points here that you give in your profile information, you know, your location, your job title, and the industry you work in. And so it's weighted on that. It will introduce you to, you know, someone in your general area that's a heavier weight before it will introduce you to, you know, someone in marketing and advertising, or vice versa. But yeah, so it's a weighted algorithm that finds people within the group, and then you know, once you've reached the number of possible matches within that group, it will look outside the group to other users, in other communities. There's that opportunity too to in the settings, preferences.
Kevin,
yeah.
so I guess my question was like, is this kind of like Facebook where it's going to link me to anyone who's registered to the system, or is it going to be group specific? Like, I remember when Michael mentioned this to us, like, I don't know, like a few months ago,
Yep.
where he said that it's somehow facilitating meeting people within TRN.
Yep.
Or is it just the universe?
Yeah, no, it's it can be either. That's up to the user. And here in the preferences, you can see on my screen, there's a way to toggle to only have intros within your group, whatever group that is that you decide to be in. You can choose to only have intros within that group. Or if you have it off, then, you know, if it finds a match, it looks within the group first, I'll say that. And then once you've reached the, you know, possible matches there, the end of that, it will look with outside the group.
So is this like I think Audrey mentioned this in the chat. So is this a lunch club competitor?
I'd say yes, but not directly. Their product is different in a few ways. One is just what you mentioned there, is that your previous question about whether it introduces people in the larger group. We are an engagement tool built for established communities, for communities that are existing communities. So yes and no. I mean, we do network people, but we are a little more specific in who we're trying to network. You know, we see this gaps between, you know, the online and the offline world. You know, LinkedIn community, you know, there might be 40,000 members, but you know, how many of those 40,000 people actually know each other or even participate within the group? You know, in-person events, how many events have you been to where, you know, you hope to meet, you know, 50 people and you meet, you know, 4, and you wish to meet other people within that community, you know, as time goes on. But your next opportunity is at the next
Okay,
event.
good. But at the same time,
Hi.
you know,
I have a
Hello.
question.
you
Sure.
can't overwork yourself.
So, how do you match people up? Because, like, I try Lunch Club, and
Uh-huh.
I mean, don't get me
All
wrong,
right.
I enjoy meeting people, but the
Anything
problem
else? Do you have
is
anything
that
else?
it's a complete miss.
Okay.
You
Yeah.
know, like, there's no dynamic there to, work together, or,
Sure.
they like totally different worlds. So, how do you match people up?
Yeah, so I think again, having the weight on the group first, the community that you joined from, right? So if it's TRN, you obviously already have that common, those common characteristics that put you in a group like that. But then beyond that, we base it on your job title, your industry, and your location are the main points that we match based on.
How do we get onto the TRN group?
I'll grab that link after this, and I'll put it into the chat. And it's
Yeah,
a simple,
it's in my newsletter. There's a bar within the newsletter. It says, I'm not sure if it was in the last one, but it should be. It says there's a meeting machine bar, and you just click on it. It says link or join here. I could show it. Did anybody have that up? The last newsletter or the one prior to that? I had it up a second ago.
either way, I'll grab it and put it in the chat so that everybody
I think it's just /TRN or something like
I
that.
think that's right. Yep. It's like group.meetingmachine.com, or yeah. I will paste it so we don't get it wrong.
I was just trying to sign in, and for some reason it could be my password is not saved somewhere, but I'll figure it out.
All right.
Wonderful. Any other questions? Because we're at the 15-minute mark. All right. Well, thank you very much, Kevin.
Thank you all so
I
much
hope everybody should try it out. I mean, listen, it doesn't hurt if it gives you an opportunity to meet more TRN people. And then what it does is it checks your calendar. One other thing it does do is, I believe, Kevin, you told me that if you've met with somebody on your calendar, even within TRN, then it will skip that person, even if it wasn't through the meeting machine.
That's right.
It assumes you already know them.
That's right. Yes. If the calendar that's connected, has that information where you were in a meeting with someone who's using their same email address within the system, yeah, it recognizes it. Yeah.
Yeah. And is there any way to, and that might be a nice addition, to limit that, only go back 3 months or 6 months or whatever, because you may want to reconnect with somebody after.
Yeah, there are those happy accidents where I always take that meeting, I'll always accept it when it's, somebody I haven't talked to in, a year or something, or even 6 months. But no, there's not currently a way to limit that.
Okay, so it does go back. How far does it go back?
That's a good question. I actually don't know the answer to that. I don't know the answer to that. I don't think it's infinity. I'm sure.
Well, I know your calendar. I mean, depending on the settings in your calendar, will limit how much is kept on your calendar.
Yep.
All right, great. So how do I go back to, let's see, share screen?
Oh yeah.
Stop sharing, advanced share options. All right, I'm going back to only. Oh, there you go. Okay. So why don't we start with our intros around the table. Let's see, give me a sec. I'm going to pop in how people showed up, at least the order in which they showed up, into the chat. So it would be Mark, Audrey, Rajiv, but let me put it in the chat. I'm now on a smaller screen, so I have to move things around. Okay, if you don't see your name, let me know on there. So Mark, Audrey, Rajiv, then Alan, Ken, Bryce. So let's do 3 minutes. Just give us an update. What's going on? Anything on the horizon for the fall that's interesting, or even obviously in the summer? Bring us up to date. Mark,
Okay.
you're up.
All righty. Well, first of all, I'd like to thank Kevin for two things. First, I do have a meeting machine tomorrow, although it was not from Meeting Machine. Actually, the person contacted me, was on vacation. So we set it up through LinkedIn.
That's awesome.
But nonetheless, it went through that. And the other thing is you hooked me up with Sea Change.
Uh-huh.
And I did a presentation actually last week, and Mallory really liked it. So that was a good thing.
That's awesome. I'm so happy to hear it. Thanks so much for doing that.
Sure. It was on digital strategy, and hopefully everybody got stuff out. There were a lot of people on the call, so that was good.
Very cool. That's very cool.
Anyway, so what I do is I do a lot of things, but mainly it's pre-branding. So I do positioning, and I do a lot of quantitative and qualitative, especially qualitative research. I love interviewing people. And, I generally have a question set, although sometimes I will deviate on occasion, especially if they start going off on a tangent. I'll usually let them talk, because sometimes that's what you find out. So what I've been doing this summer is not a whole heck of a lot of anything, but I'm looking forward to the fall. And I have a couple small projects brewing. That seems to be the way it goes these days. Eventually, maybe they'll turn back into big ones again. So I also do a little bit of customer experience work too. That's me.
Mark, can you drop your website into the chat?
Website? Sure.
Yeah.
It is, what's the name of the company again? Growth Strategy Advisors. Also available.
Although it's has consulting on the end.
Right. Growth Strategy Consulting, or Advisors, Growth Strategy Consulting.
Yeah, because I did that because that was an available link, and I figured, what the heck?
Okay.
There it is.
Thank you. I see, Growth Strategy Consulting. Wonderful. Okay. Audrey, you're up.
Hi everybody, Audrey Clover. I'm the advertising law attorney of the group. I basically work with everybody like you. Agencies, PR, website designers, anything in the advertising marketing world to keep the clients and the advertising campaigns legally compliant. So I review in English and Spanish for compliance with FTC law and any other federal agency, state, local, to make sure you're legally compliant. And of course, then I also help with intellectual property, make sure you're not infringing, or if you have things that need to be protected, we file those before you launch publicly. If you need a licensing, if you have the wrong license for photo, video, music, or whatever it is that your client wants. And if it includes a website, I draft a privacy policy in the terms and conditions, disclaimers, disclosures based on what the company needs. And of course, also ADA online compliance. I'm not a tech, so I don't do the tech, but I do the drafting of the legal document required on your website, and I work with the tech to help them, be legally compliant. So the question is, what's going on this summer? Lots. We're about to get hit with another storm. Too early for that. Next week, I'll be traveling to Boston to drop off my youngest at Emerson. So, wow. Yeah, no kids in the house. That's going to be, something weird around here. But I have the furry babies. So that's what's new. Still working away. COVID is insane here in Florida, so I don't leave my house much. According to, our wonderful governor, it doesn't exist and nobody needs to wear a mask. So Yeah, same old, different day. Work, COVID, kids.
Thank you. So you
Sure.
said your daughter going to Emerson?
Yes, so my oldest is still at NYU, and my youngest is going to Emerson for stage management.
Good for her.
Yeah.
My daughter looked at Emerson for the same purpose.
Audrey,
Oh, yeah.
I think I asked you this, I might have asked you this before. Are you involved? Do you have a COPA expertise?
Well, I mean, it's all part of advertising. So if you do advertise to kids, yes, I definitely look at COPA, make sure that you're not violating the COPA rules.
So you could help me make sure that we're COPA compliant.
Yes,
Okay, thank you.
of
And you
course.
might want to explain COPA, I guess, is the childhood.
Oh, it's the rules regarding child advertising or advertising that directly targets kids.
Okay.
So they're going up to 13, but CCPA is 16. Keep that in mind. So yeah, also you got to keep in mind what the state says. But
Audrey,
COPA is
what's CCPA?
that's a California Privacy Act, in which, by the way, is about to change soon, within a year or so, for CPRA. So it's CCPA times 2. You know.
And what does COPA stand for?
Children's. Let me look it up. Sorry,
Children's Online Privacy Protection Act.
that.
Oh, I see. COPPA. Okay.
Sorry, it's just I haven't looked at the name in so long. But yes, I do look for COPA reviews, and anybody who doesn't advertise to kids, I go back and make sure that their privacy statement states that, right? Because you want to make sure that you're not collecting kids' information. And if you are collecting it, like if somebody just lands on your website, you don't want to be responsible for something you didn't purposely collect.
Right.
So your
Okay,
privacy policy has to be very clear. But yeah, I mean, please feel free to reach out to me, Alan, and let's have a talk.
I just got a quick question, Audrey. If a website is not geared towards kids, it should still have some statement in there that it's not collecting information on kids?
Absolutely, under privacy laws. You have to make that very clear, what you collect and what you do with it and how you protect it and who you share it with.
Most sites often say, this is not, please do not sign up if you are under 18. This is for, even though it has nothing to do with quote unquote adult content, this is just to make sure that kids are not putting in their information and you don't get stuck with problems associated with that.
Right, and the biggest problem with that is a lot of people just copy and paste the CCPA rules, the California Privacy Act rules, and that's written differently, right? So because they have up to 13 and then they go between 13 and 16. So if you don't want to collect kids' information, you need somebody like me. I will not just copy and paste. I don't copy and paste. I will write. I start with my own template, and then based on what the company needs, it depends how I word things. So I'm very clear that nothing in this website is geared towards kids. We do not purposely collect this. Anybody under 18, right? You want to make sure, because like you just said, you don't want to be responsible for collecting kids' information inadvertently because your teenager landed on that webpage. Then that's a parent's problem, not yours.
All right, let's move on. So Rajiv, then Alan, then Ken, then Bryce. So Rajiv, you were up.
Awesome. Let me see if this works. Sharing a new video, which kind of like explains what we do. So let's see if this works. Oh, wait. Wait, is it sharing or not?
It's sharing your entire screen.
That's weird. So how do I get it to share something specifically?
You should be able to select that when you do the share.
Yeah, so the thing didn't pop up. It just said you are screen sharing, but like it didn't allow me to share what I wanted to share.
Let me see if advanced sharing options, all participants. I don't know what to tell you. Things might have changed on the interface.
They just pushed through an update recently.
Oh, really? Can you change? Can you show it on your screen anyway? Because I see now.
I see like 2 pictures of everybody.
Yeah.
Oh, so it's okay. Let me see if this works.
I think you're
There
covering.
you go. I see it. Yeah, I see now
There
this
it
guy
is.
with his hands in his head in his face. Yep.
Oh, okay, cool.
Head in
So
his
let's
hands.
see. Yeah, so let's see if that works.
The past can sometimes be crazy, messy, and ugly, which unfortunately could be linked to you or someone you care about on Google. Wouldn't it be great if you could separate yourself from your past business failures? The good news is that the past can be erased from Google so you can live your best life. R Squared Media's reputation repair services have successfully helped clients just like you realize peace of mind. Misery is history. Request a free consultation by visiting rsquaremedia.com.
Yeah, so I think I can stop sharing. Yeah, so we do reputation repair, and reputation repair, essentially, just to break it down, is when anyone Googles themselves by using their name or their company's name or somebody else's name, what comes up in the search result, if what comes up is something that they don't like or something that they would not want for someone else to see, because then people associate what they see on Google with this person or the organization, and then are influenced by what they see. So if something, whatever they see is something that you don't like, we can actually help you get it deleted from Google. And people delete a variety of things. It could be bad press, it could be bad reviews, it could also be a case of mistaken identity recently where we deleted somebody, a link that came up, which was actually someone else. But the someone else is a criminal, and then the client lost out on a big job because the client thought that she was this criminal. So then she quickly kind of enlisted us to kind of get all this stuff deleted so she could hopefully salvage the situation. So that's also the scope, which includes when it comes to deleting stuff. And I just want to clarify that this service is intended to help people like you continue to do good work. So this is not intended to serve bad actors and let them get away with stuff. So it's not intended for that. And essentially my ask is to be connected to, other marketers like you, but specifically people, agencies, consultants that deal with branding, corporate communications, public relations. That's the ask.
And is it usually individuals that are trying to get their bad press eliminated, or?
It's both. Yeah, it's both individuals as well as organizations. The individuals could be either executives or high net worth individuals, because typically there is the price, or let's say investment, if you want to use fancy words, is not cheap. So some people do get bulk at the sticker price. So that's why the ideal client is either a high net worth individual or an executive, or a leader like a politician, celebrity, or someone like that. Oh, Michael, you're on mute.
What's a typical cost?
When
it ranges.
Yeah, so when it's like a review or a simple Google review is about $1,500 per review. A regular link from anywhere, the price starts at $2,500 per link. And if it's, let's say, New York Times or something, you want that deleted, the price is about $4,000 to $5,000 per link. And if it's something more than that, like FBI.gov or SEC.gov or something like that, then the price is a little bit higher as well. It's about $12,000 to $15,000 per link. And just to kind of talk about how we do this, so this is not hacking. We're basically petitioning to both Google as well as the publisher to get this content removed, or essentially we're telling the publisher to make like a tag where it says do not follow on the page, and that's what triggers Google to not continue to show this link in its search results. And we're also petitioning Google as well to not include this for XYZ reasons like libel, defamation, etc. So that's kind of like how we're doing it. And that's why the typical forecasted outcome is 60 to 90 days, usually. And the reason why I mentioned that is because we have a performance guarantee, which means if we don't deliver the results in that forecasted window, the client has the option of asking for a refund or give us more time to try something else.
Great, thank you.
Yeah, so this way it's like completely transparent, it's risk-free, and it kind of gives clients the peace of mind that they're looking for.
Thank you, Rajiv. Alan, you're up.
Yeah, hey, everybody. So I'm Alan Winnicott. I'm co-partner in sales and Winnicott Communications. We are a public relations, social media, and digital communications firm. Started in 2003. Some of you have heard my story that how we started, and my partner and I, and how we started as a traditional PR firm, because in 2003 there really wasn't the landscape of digital communications, the social media, the paid content. And so we've had to evolve quite dramatically over the years. It's interesting because a lot of clients still want that old school PR. They still want to see their company in a magazine or a newspaper, even though there are less magazines and newspapers than there ever have been, but they still want that. So we still deliver that paid, what we call earned PR, that free PR. They pay us a retainer. We get them stories, TV, newspapers, websites, magazines, that sort of thing. But we also do a lot of paid content. We work with blogger networks to develop paid content, and also other companies like Outbrain that provide that. And then social media is now a huge part of our business. We do social for most of our clients. It can be turnkey. We work with a lot of startups. We love working with startups. And so we sometimes come into it where there is no social presence at all. And we're the ones that start across all platforms, and we get them going. We give them a campaign, and we can get build up their follower base, relatively quickly. We work with a lot of partners because there are a lot of things we don't do. There's been a lot of discussion today about SEO. We always are looking for partners who are really good at SEO. We work with video production companies, web designers. So anything in that area that you feel is related to marketing, I would be interested in talking to you, because we're always looking for third-party partners where we can go after a client or support an existing client through a broader scope of services that we can't offer by ourselves. And just to say the kinds of businesses we work with, we do a lot of work in media and entertainment. That could be anything from TV, books. These days, a lot of podcasts, apps. We're actually building up quite a business on the podcast world. And we also work with nonprofits. We have several very high-profile nonprofits. And then, as I was talking to Michael about at the beginning of the call, food and beverage has become an area that we've become quite active in, particularly in the wine business, which is why I was talking to Michael about that when we came on. So those are really areas that we're very strong in. And within entertainment and also in nonprofits, we work a lot in children's. So that's why I was asking Audrey about the Children's Online Privacy Protection Act. So if you're looking for ways in which we can partner, I'd love to talk to you.
Thank you, Alan. Okay. Ken, then Bryce.
Well, I guess it's just me. Bryce left.
Okay.
I left last week. So what's new? I mean, I've been talking to more people now than I've been talking to, and I don't know, it seems every day I'm have 3 or 4 or 5 different Zoom meetings every day. So, and it's all over the place, but I guess, I work with B2B companies, mostly, but B2C as well, and helping companies understand who their customers are, what their needs are, and then develop the strategies for them to use to go after those customers, whether it be online campaigns, offline campaigns, engagement strategies, what products and services to offer, what their customers need, what their pain points are. The newest thing is I'm working with, I'm trying to see where this is going, is like working with a company outside of London who's trying to set me up with a company in Australia. So we're trying to figure out the time zone issues, and it's something that's like a 13.5-hour difference between everybody. So it's like someone has to wake up in the middle of the night, and I think I was elected. But anyway, so I work with startups. I work with, you know, companies in the fintech field, some technology companies, and you know, and companies in the services area as well. This one is something brand new. This is anything in the space industry. So this is something that, you know, companies that are startups in the space field. So I'm like excited about this one. So that's what's new and happening. So I don't know. I mean,
Good. I have a connection for you if you're doing somebody I met yesterday through Julie Livingston, who does copywriting in the fintech world, in the financial services world.
okay.
So I'll try to remind myself to connect.
Yeah, when you come back, let's get together for coffee or anything.
That's right. We are very local. Hop on my calendar. Just put something on my calendar, but and say coffee. So we'll extend it because obviously it's going to be more than a half hour.
Yeah, how would I get to your calendar? Through the
Go to my newsletter all the way at the bottom.
Okay, fine. Okay.
Cool. So Bryce, somebody said Bryce left.
Yeah,
Yes,
Bryce.
all right. So it's just a small group of us. Okay, good. So I'll put on the timer for myself. As you know, my name is Michael Bendit, and I represent software development teams. The work that I do is mostly, it's about half of it is in marketing and half of it is with startups. I'm currently probably got about 15 or maybe even more projects going. The nice thing about the way I set it up is a lot of my teams work directly with agencies. And so, you know, unless there's a problem, I don't need to get involved. So we develop a strong relationship, and then my partner starts working directly with my teams and bringing in repeat business. That's particularly true with my WordPress teams because there's so much volume in WordPress. They could be small projects, anywhere from, you know, even under $1,000. And that's actually sometimes a good way to start. And it goes up from there. My sweet spot is probably in the area of $15,000 to $25,000. And using WordPress, you can actually get a lot done. So some of the startups that we've worked with actually launch their products on WordPress. It's a great way to get started quickly. If you are successful, then at some point you may want to move to a custom design or a custom platform because it's going to give you better performance and reduce risk associated with hacking that, unfortunately, WordPress, because it is the most widely used content management system in the world, it's more vulnerable to. But, you know, my teams that do WordPress work are very on top of maintaining the security, but it does require sort of monthly checks on plugins and things like that. I just recently got a request from a startup, which was, I don't know if it came through TRN. I don't believe it did. Somebody who's working in the fintech world, and they have a proprietary algorithm that they only want somebody domestically to work on. They do not want to offshore it, but they have a front end that they don't really care if it's offshore because it's not really proprietary. So I have teams that work both domestically only, and I have teams that do dual shore work, meaning they have some people here and some people offshore. So I proposed one of my teams that is a dual shore team, but they actually have development resources in the US as well as offshore. So they can mix it up. They can say, all right, for the back end algorithm work, we'll do it onshore. And for the front end, to save you some money, we'll do it offshore. So we'll see if that's going to work. If not, we'll just do it all onshore. It's actually, in this case, he thought he would get two different teams. My thinking is it's actually better for him to do it with just one team. it's going to save money rather than trying to coordinate the build between two different teams. And I'm still out here in California. Probably will. Well, I know I'm coming back on Sunday, back to the East Coast, working on a couple of consulting gigs. So I'll be busy across a number of projects, of course, including TRN. So we have 7 minutes left. I'm going to switch back to gallery view. I don't think I missed anybody, right? Everybody got a chance to chat. Cool. So if you haven't signed up for the meeting machine, do so, try it out. Really, it doesn't take very long to sign up, and it will try to match you up with somebody in TRN. I would recommend that you, I think even if you don't say connect only with people in my group, it will start with people in your group. And if it can't find anybody, then it goes outside the group. And that's the way I have it set up. So I've met, of course, because I've met, almost everybody in the group is on my calendar. It finds it difficult to match somebody in the group. But occasionally I get somebody in the group, and then when it doesn't find somebody within TRN, it matches me with somebody outside with the intent of matching on interest, title, industry. So it's similar to, I think it's pretty similar to Lunch Club, except for the fact that it tries to match you within a group first.